on that big boom in Woodland, but what caused it? Last week, people reported that mysterious sound. Well, tonight, our team is conducting our own research, getting answers on what really may have shook the neighborhood. Thanks for staying with us at 11. I'm Marley Ginter.
And I'm Tony Lopez. Let's get to it. There were a lot of theories. Tonight, your reporter covering Yolo County, Ashley Sharp, is getting answers, trying to find out what really shook that neighborhood. She joins us live in studio with more.
Yeah, well, we all saw that video last week and started asking, okay, what really was it? Woodland police told us that they thought the boom was fireworks, but our chief meteorologist, Nick Marianos, instantly thought it was something else. And we put together our own science experiment of sorts to try and figure it out, with a new theory now emerging.
This big boom has caused quite the stir in Woodland.
I thought it was a bomb.
It happened around 5 a.m. last Tuesday morning, rattling neighbors awake and setting off car alarms. Woodland police told CBS Sacramento it was likely an aerial firework, but our chief meteorologist Nick Marianos decided to investigate a bit further.
I mean, how many times have you been to a fireworks show and you've heard car alarms going off for a whole block?
Saying what he saw is more likely a meteor event, because that same morning, November 4th, the Southern Torrids meteor shower was at its peak.
They're known for very bright fireballs.
Through the American Meteor Society, well documented the day before the boom are reports of fireballs spotted.
At different times reporting fireballs.
On this map, you can see they poured in statewide.
At the same time that boom in Woodland was reported, there was a report of a fireball from an observer out of Half Moon Bay. It's around the exact same time toward that direction. So then I started looking at social media archives, and I saw in the Solano County Facebook group around the same time there was another post about a giant meteor or a fireball shooting across the sky looking toward Vacaville, right? So the direction also aims toward Woodland.
Nick's theory is the loud bang was a sonic boom from a fragment of a meteor as a bolide or fireball burst and likely left no trace.
But I do think that the evidence is very consistent with that.
We took Nick's theory to Raj Dixit, a current member and former president of the Sacramento Valley Astronomical Society, who agrees this could be linked to the Torrid meteor shower as Earth passes through a comet debris field.
We happen to be passing through a particularly rough and thick patch of tail this year, which makes it, I think, very likely that this could have been one of those fireballs, those bolides.
And as for that whistling sound, it's rare, but has been associated with fireballs, an electronic effect of it disturbing the air around it.
So this whistle, that seems to be a genuinely rare capture, and that makes this a precious document.
Yeah, unique to catch that on camera if that is in fact what we have caught here. Now, this is just a theory. On the other side, I sent that video to the state fire marshal, and he said it could be a large whistle rocket after watching that video with some colleagues. So, of course, we can't rule out that it was a firework or even some type of a homemade explosive, but been pretty interesting, right, to kind of put together what we called our little science experiment, Nick.
Yeah, and especially, you know, with the theory for the meteor, there's at least documentation that there has been sightings. You know, it was the peak of the meteor shower, and you can actually document that. And the whistle effect, as we mentioned, has been documented with meteors in some cases.
And the reason there was no debris found was because of what?
Well, if this was indeed a meteor, once it breaks up in the atmosphere, because of the heat makes it glow, it fragments, and either parts of it get vaporized, or it's so small it's like dust, and it just doesn't survive it down
Just
to the
disappears,
ground level.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Hey.
Which is why no evidence was found, really, linking to what exactly it was.
And
right?
I've spoken with that expert before, Raj Dixit, and it makes sense because he's also spoken about, you know, things falling out and then just evaporating. Right?
Yeah, and we've seen some clear videos in years past of sonic booms from meteors that are strong enough that break windows.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which explains why the car alarms, right? Kind of rattled off after.
Well,
So
the first rule in journalism is stay curious, and you guys were both curious enough to bring us some pretty challenging stuff, right?
Sure.
All right, thank you both.
We had fun.